I went to the hospital for 10 minutes. You went for a month. Now be quiet.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're looking at the most infamous moments when recorded interviews descended into chaos as a brawl broke out.
Jerry, was there ever any doubt in your mind that you would have any difficulty wrestling Andy?
Not really. No doubt at all.
Raiders and Chargers fans. It's not every sports rivalry that gets its own Wikipedia page. But then again, not every rivalry is as intense as the Los Angeles Chargers and Las Vegas Raiders.
The grudge between the two started early. Al Davis, he was an assistant with the Chargers when they started in LA. They were the better team. They put up 40-plus points on the Raiders in their first 5 meetings. So Oakland figured that was as good a club as any to pilfer from.
In 2025, the two NFL sides battled it out at the Allegiant Stadium in Paradise, Nevada. After the game, KTNV's reporter Nick Walters spoke to a Raiders fan about the team's future following their loss.
Get something decent.
However, as he wraps up the interview, a punch is thrown behind Walters as Raiders and Chargers fans begin brawling. At one point, one Raiders woman evades security to stomp on someone repeatedly until the guard got her under control again. Cardi B and Asia Davies. Before she hit the dizzying heights of the music industry, Cardi B was a cast member on Love and Hip Hop New York for a couple of seasons.
When it comes to this music thing, I ain't playing with it. I'm putting my heart, my foot, and my money in this thing.
At the start of the 7th season, Swift Star had been dating Asia Davies. However, there were allegations he'd found romance with Cardi. It came to a head in one of the season's reunion shows. When Davies was asked what problem she had with Cardi, she refused to answer.
You start talking about Cardi in his text. What happened?
This sparked the Bodak Yellow singer to take off a shoe and chuck it at Davies, causing a mini brawl as security swept in.
Nah, that's what happens when you talk.
Strangely, this isn't the only time Cardi has used footwear as a weapon, as she threw a shoe at Nicki Minaj in 2018.
You can see Cardi stumbling across the hallway, held back by her security team.
Jim McLean and John Barnes. For 22 years, McLean managed Scottish football team Dundee United, becoming the team's most successful manager. After he left the role in 1993, he kept his boardroom responsibilities. In 2000, following United's 4-0 loss to Hearts, McLean was interviewed by John Barnes, the reporter, not the Liverpool legendary midfielder. Barnes asked McLean how long he'd give the current manager. This infuriated the United icon, calling the question, quote, stupid.
How long do you give Alex Smith to get it right on the park?
Well, you think I'm going to answer a stupid question like that?
He then swore, walked off camera, and reportedly attacked Barnes. Due to the scandal, McLean resigned as United's chairman, managing director, and board member.
McLean's decision to resign spells the end of an era in the city.
He did return in 2002 as a director, but resigned again a month later. That same year, McLean sold his stake in Dundee United to Ficiri Gibri and Col Nicola. In 2018, Gibri, chair of Albania's miners' union, met with Nicola, the chair of the country's Confederation of Trade Unions, for a TV interview. However, rather than come to terms with workers' rights, the duo took a vastly different approach. After a disagreement, Gibri stood up and walked towards Nicola before slapping him across the face. Instantly, Nicola blocked more slapping attempts. Then the two politicians grabbed at each other while trying to punch and kick. For a moment, the poor moderator didn't know what to do. After hesitating, she got involved to separate them with the help of security and production staff. Ser Afzal Khan Marwat and Afnan Ullah Khan. It's always nice to see politicians with passion for what they believe in, but sometimes they can have too much of it. In 2023, the Pakistani channel Express News held a segment with Marwat, a member of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, and Khan, a senator for the Pakistan Muslim League. The duo began criticizing each other's political party, escalating to their respective families. Then, Marwat stood up and slapped Khan's head. The senator quickly got up, and the two fought off camera as punches were thrown. In the aftermath, the senator posted on social media his hatred of violence, but also taunted Marwat about having to wear sunglasses. Khan followed by issuing a first information report against Marwat for instigating the battle. Richard B. Spencer and masked activist. In 2017, white supremacist and far-right commentator Spencer attended the inauguration of Donald Trump in Washington, D.C. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation's Zoe Daniel managed to interview Spencer, asking him about his controversial political connections and his Pepe the Frog pin, a symbol co-opted by far-right extremists.
It's Pepe's become kind of a...
At that point, a masked activist ran up to Spencer and hit him across the head with his forearm before disappearing into the crowd. The incident caused a flurry of memes and jokes to spread on social media, mocking Spencer, as others questioned whether punching someone like Spencer was acceptable or not. Morton Downey Jr. and Stuttering John. As the face of the controversial talk show The Morton Downey Jr. Show, Downey has had numerous run-ins with folks. At one point, he was interviewed for the Howard Stern Show by John Melendez, aka Stuttering John. Melendez was sent to question the host on his bankruptcy and hosting parties despite the status.
Well, you can't ask me because I think Howard Stern sucks. I think he's got the brains of an amoeba, and I think you're a complete asshole, Howard. So suck my earlobe, punk.
Straight away, Downey was confrontational, calling Melendez a slob. He responded by claiming the host was wearing fake stuff. It only escalated from there with aggression as the duo traded insults.
So take care of yourself out on the street where you look like you just borrowed 50 cents in a cup.
Listen, at least I have money in my bank.
Downey's entourage then gets hostile, riling up the host even more as he grabs Melendez's questions out of his hand, causing a fight to erupt as various people arrive to separate them.
Morton knows how to make great television. He punches people.
But Morton, why isn't he on TV if he knows how to make great television?
Well, he knows how to make great television for us.
Buzz Aldrin and Bart Sibrel. In 1969, millions around the world watched as the US became the first nation to put humans on the moon. Well, unless you ask Sibrel, who denies that ever happened.
Why don't you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
I'm not trying to get
you tell him to get out of here?
In 2002, the conspiracy theorist got Aldrin, the second person to walk on the moon, to a Beverly Hills hotel, pretending he was there to be on a children's TV show. Instead, Sibrel was armed with a TV crew. He confronted Aldrin with his theories, demanding he swear on a Bible that the moon landing happened, and called the astronaut, quote, a coward, a liar, and a thief.
Saying I misrepresented myself? Away from me?
This last insult, mixed with the astronaut blocked from leaving, sparked Aldrin to punch Sibrel. While the police looked into the incident, the investigation was dropped. Burt Reynolds and Mark Summers. In 1994, during his contentious divorce with actress Lonnie Anderson, Burt Reynolds made an appearance on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
Which was really great.
Gee, I wish I'd seen that.
You would.
Right at the start, Leno cracked jokes about Reynolds' personal struggles, which immediately put him in a sour mood. The situation took an unexpected turn when children's game show host Mark Summers joined the show. While interacting with Reynolds, Summers rubbed his own marriage in the actor's face.
My wife tells me that often.
She says, good morning.
I'm still married, as a matter of fact.
Yes, well, you...
He soon learned how terrible an idea that was. Reynolds responded by dumping his mug on Summers' lap, but when the host tried to retaliate, Reynolds quickly swatted his hand away. The tension soon escalated into a pie fight, leaving both men covered in cream. Alexander Lebedev and Sergei Polonsky. Economic discussions often stir up a lot of tension, but things took an unusually heated turn in this televised debate between two Russian oligarchs.
A number of Russian oligarchs had been invited to debate the economy on national TV.
In 2011, billionaire tycoon and former KGB spy Alexander Lebedev appeared on a show alongside former property developer Sergei Polonsky for a discussion on the economic crisis. Things quickly got heated in the course of the interview, leading Lebedev to attack Polonsky with a series of blows, sending him right to the floor.
But Lebedev's discussion with paratrooper-turned-property developer Sergei Polonsky gets heated before boiling over.
The former spy claimed he felt threatened by Polonsky and decided to neutralize the perceived threat with his fists. The televised altercation resulted in Lebedev being charged with politically motivated hooliganism with a potential maximum sentence of 5 years.
You looked very angry at the time on the tape. Are you sorry about what happened there?
I might have overreacted. I mean, normally I'm a very quiet person, and I was not looking for any violation of public order.
Shakir Al-Johari and Sami Krez. In July 2014, a discussion between two Jordanian analysts on the JoSat satellite television channel escalated into violence. The contenders were Shakir Al-Johari, a controversial journalist, and Sami Krez, a lawyer and activist. The focal points of their heated exchange were the Syrian civil war and the Gaza crisis. As Krez expressed his views during the interview, Al-Johari, in a fit of anger, hurled a bottle of water at him. Things intensified as Al-Johari walked across the studio, grabbed a chair, and lunged at Krez with it, despite the host's attempts to intervene. Fortunately, a studio staff member stepped in just in time, successfully placating the enraged journalist and preventing further chaos. Al Sharpton and Roy Innis. In the 1980s, Al Sharpton and Roy Innis were two prominent civil rights activists in New York.
Who speaks for Black America? Roy Innis? Al Sharpton? Who speaks? You'll be the judge. Join us tonight.
Despite their shared cause, both men held opposing political views, with Sharpton aligning as a Democrat and Innis being firmly conservative. Their discord resurfaced in 1988 during an infamous appearance on the Morton Downey Jr. show. Sharpton first began taking Innis to task over some of his controversial opinions.
In this transitional stage, Mr. Innis went from a man who would challenge a Bob Abrams to a man who would curtail and kowtow and back down to a Bob Abrams.
When Innis tried to respond, Sharpton interjected, leading to a physical altercation that saw the conservative activist shove Sharpton to the floor. The ensuing brawl on the stage was swiftly contained by host Downey Jr., who, for once, found himself playing the unusual role of peacemaker. Shakir Al-Johari and Muhammad Al-Jayusi. What's it they say? When two journalists fight, it's the production studio that ultimately suffers? Well, that happened to be the case during this May 2014 interview on the Jordanian TV show Between Opposing Opinions.
This is the moment two journalists taking part in a TV debate in Jordan became so angry with each other they wrecked the studio.
None other than the controversial journalist Shakir Al-Johari makes an appearance, this time against fellow journalist Muhammad Al-Jayusi. Once again, the topic of discussion was the Syrian crisis. Al-Jayusi reportedly sparked conflict by labeling Al-Johari a deviant and accusing him of supporting the Syrian revolution.
The pundits were taking part in a debate on the crisis in Syria when the discussion became a little bit heated.
This caused the two journalists to clash physically, pushing the studio table at each other, until the top broke off. Eventually, they were pulled apart by the production staff, but not before leaving the studio in complete disarray.
Whilst the table tug-of-war escalated pretty quickly, nobody seems to score a decisive victory.
Vepkia Gurganishvili and Polat Kalikov. Heated debates between political opponents aren't unusual, but it's not often that we see those disagreements escalate to full-fledged boxing matches. In the lead-up to the 2016 elections in Georgia, parliamentary candidates Vepkia Gurganishvili from the Democratic Movement and Polat Kalikov from the Industrial Political Bloc engaged in a debate on the TV network Vemo Kartli. The exchange became intense, reaching a boiling point when Gurganishvili reportedly referred to Kalikov as scum. Both men threw their pens at each other before deciding to sort things out with their fists. It didn't take long for the production staff to intervene, pulling the two opponents apart and bringing the televised debate to an abrupt conclusion. Jim Rome and Jim Everett. The Los Angeles-based TV show Talk 2, hosted by sports personality Jim Rome, ran for 5 years on ESPN2. In 1994, the program achieved notoriety due to a contentious interview between Rome and former NFL quarterback Jim Everett.
Good to be here, Jim. Thank you.
Check that. Chris Everett. Good to have you on the show.
You know what? You've been calling me that for about the last 5 years.
Now 2 years, actually, Chris.
Prior to their encounter, Rome had repeatedly called Everett Chris Evert, a nod to the legendary tennis player, which irked the NFL star. As the interview commenced, Rome continued using the nickname, prompting Everett to warn him against repeating it.
I think that you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris?
Unsurprisingly, Rome did. This led Everett to flip the table and shove the host to the floor. Rome has since acknowledged his fault in the incident, seeking to reconcile with Everett.
Anyway, it's too bad you had to see that. We feel that was a pretty unfortunate incident. That was New Orleans Saints quarterback Jim Everett.
Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler. Andy Kaufman was an unconventional entertainer who garnered significant attention for his alternative comedy style. Even stranger, Kaufman engaged in a bizarre form of wrestling and eventually faced off against professional wrestler Jerry Lawler, who seemingly left him with a neck injury.
Do you still need that neck brace on there?
Yes.
Yeah?
I do.
Are you in a lot of pain?
Well, I'm not in nearly as much pain as I was, and it's healing. But
Months later, they attempted to resolve their feud on Late Night with David Letterman. Kaufman, still sporting a neck brace, threatened to sue Lawler for his injuries, causing the professional wrestler to slap him so hard he fell off his chair.
What kind of a guy are you?
I'll just be over here. We're going to pause here for station identification, get the hoses out here. No.
Kaufman apparently lost his composure afterwards, yelling expletives and throwing a cup of coffee at Lawler. Despite the realistic portrayal, it was later revealed that the altercation was staged, and that both men were, in fact, good friends. The Geraldo Brawl. On November 3rd, 1988, Geraldo Rivera's morning talk show became the setting for a heated confrontation.
Our guests that you'll meet today are truly hate-filled. They are self-described racists.
The panel featured white supremacists, black civil rights activists, and Jewish advocates. During the discussion, a guest directed a racial epithet at Roy Innis, the chairman of the Congress of Racial Equality.
Now, let me tell you. You gotta kick.
In response, Innis walked over and grabbed him forcefully by the neck. As the two men struggled, several audience members stormed the stage and joined the scuffle, throwing chairs and punches at each other. Amid the brawl, a chair struck Rivera in the face, leaving him with a broken and bloody nose. Remarkably, Rivera declined immediate medical attention, instead opting to continue with the show.
We're back. The skinheads have been, the racist skinheads have been cleared out of the building.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier were two of the greatest heavyweight boxers in history. Both men faced off in 3 highly publicized matches between 1971 and 1975, but it seems their rivalry extended far beyond the ring.
You look good, Joe. You don't explain why you dress like you are.
Well, that's good. I'm a dresser.
You look good, Joe.
Shortly before their second fight, Ali and Frazier sat for an interview with veteran ABC sports journalist Howard Cosell to review their first match. At some point, Ali referred to Frazier as ignorant, which left the boxer visibly enraged and caused him to rise to his feet.
Why you think I'm raging?
Man, sit down. Sit down, man. Sit down, Joe. Why you think I'm raging? Sit down, Joe.
Ali soon got out of his own chair, and the two ended up wrestling on the studio floor. Through it all, Cosell remained seated, narrating the scuffle for the audience like an actual prize fight.
Well, we're having a scene, as you can see, and it's hard to tell whether it's clowning or for real between the two fighters.
Which of our entries shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments.
Chairs went flying.
Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.